everybody, and welcome to another episode of Public Opinion with your host, Pam and Vanetta. And hi, Vanetta.
Hi.
Hi, I missed you. We were supposed to get together. I didn't even know you just took off and went out of town without letting anybody know.
I thought I told you. Yeah, we got away from this snow, and I can tell you, I don't owe apology. I'm so happy. I had never been to South Beach. I had the best time. It is so
good.
pretty there.
Oh yeah, you're talking about in Miami, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we go there every time we go to Fort Lauderdale. But I'm glad you had a good time.
I want to live there.
And you came back we had like 15 inches of snow. So that's not good. But you know, the last time when we did our New Year's show, I forgot to ask you if you had any New Year's resolutions. So did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Well, I made one and I already broke it. It was to eat better, but I'm going to change. Okay. I'm going to do better now because this is a big year for me.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know, I made a resolution, which I pretty much make for the most part every year. But this year, I am really, really resolving to continue to increase my relationship with God. And by that, I mean just really putting him first and foremost in everything. And so, because I'm the type of person where if it's anything that comes up, I'm ready to try to figure out how to do it on my own. And so I have resolved that I am going to go to God for everything. And, you know, big and small. And I think that I haven't been doing that as much as I should. And so that's what I really, really, I just want to continue to just make sure that he's first and foremost. And of course, I, like a whole lot of other people, have resolved, or at least I tried to lose weight and to maintain the weight and to maintain a healthier lifestyle. And so that's what we're going to be talking about this week is maintaining a healthy lifestyle. How do you do that? How do you maintain your weight? And there's so many people who resolve to do that and fail. And as a matter of fact, I think you were telling me, and what was this? I don't know if you knew the statistics about how many people fail in their resolution.
How many people fail, right. Based on New Year's resolutions, which they say are not good to make, that by January, now this is a very sad number, by January 12th, 80% of the people have failed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's very sad. And I can say I fell into that category. But what they kept saying is get back up. You know, today is, and I like this theory, today is your Monday. I think the guest today told me that. I like that. You know how you always say, I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to start Monday. Right. Today is your Monday. Today is your first.
Right. Well, just to let you know, I looked up what the top, actually the top 5 New Year's resolutions for 2022. And the first one is lose weight. The second one is eat healthier or change diet. The third one is get fitter and take more exercise. And the fourth one is spend more time with family and friends. And the fifth was be more aware and take care of your mental health. So many people, as you can see, are either trying to lose weight, maintain a healthier lifestyle, or whatever. And so I'm happy and I'm looking forward to hearing what our guests have to say, because I'm
excited.
We have 2 guests who have lost a tremendous amount of weight. And I can't wait to hear what they did to lose the weight and what they're doing to maintain it. And then we also have a doctor who is going to be telling his whole practice is about designing weight loss programs for people. And so we're going to hear from him to find out the healthy way to do that. So I'm excited. So let's get started and meet our participants.
Okay.
First, we have Daryl Newsom. Daryl is a DJ and owner of Rel E-Rail Productions. Daryl has been on a fitness journey for over 10 years. What started out as a goal of losing a couple of pounds resulted in him losing 77 pounds and living a healthier lifestyle. He has shared his journey on social media and hopes to help someone else who may be struggling with weight loss. Then we have Lisa Yvette Jones. Lisa is the Chief Caring Officer of iCare Leadership LLC. Lisa supports high-achieving, aspiring, and seasoned professional women leaders in maximizing their leadership influence while holistically transforming and humanizing the employment experience. Since conquering cancer, Lisa has released over 200 pounds and has been maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And finally, we have Dr. Frank Dockler. Dr. Dockler is the director of the Broadview Health and Healthy One Weight Loss Centers. Dr. Dockler specializes in developing healthy weight loss programs that address the science of safe and effective long-term fat loss, as well as the health benefits that should accompany it. So join us in welcoming our participants this week. Well, welcome, 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 and thank all of you for agreeing to be participants on this show. And I cannot wait to hear what your responses are to the public opinion question of the week. So we are going to get started and see what that public opinion question is. To diet or not to diet? What is the best way to maintain a healthy weight? I cannot wait to hear that, because so many people resolve to maintain a healthy weight and to lose weight. And so I really want to see what you all have to say about it. So I do believe in ladies first. So Lisa, I am going to let you start and answer that question. And you have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Diet or not to diet, so many people will look at that word and they say, I just can't stand it. It starts with die, and anything die is negative. I don't see that. I don't see that in this instance, because you have to die to old habits in order to create new ones. So for, my little acronym, that I, came up with, for this whole process, for dieting is, first of all, in doing that, be determined that you want to do what is best for you, regardless to what society is saying about, the process, whatever process it takes for you. I would say also make sure you do it very healthy. Be intentional. Be intentional about what you're going to do for you. Everything doesn't work for everyone. I know everyone gets on the keto plan, they get on all of these other bandwagons, but you need to know what actually works for you, which means you need to be in partnership with your doctor. You are a partner in your health. So partner with your medical physician so that you will have a healthy, diet, okay? Diet into those things that have gotten you to where you are today. And then expect results and be an example. I love having people have watched my transformation. They have seen me go from almost 400 pounds to where I am now, having released over 200 pounds. And I use release because, listen, anything that's lost can be found. I'm not trying to find those 202 pounds at all. And I have another 30 pounds that I do want to release. But in releasing that, I've released so much more. And then it's going to take time. It's going to take time. In full transparency, I did have the bariatric sleeve procedure, but let me tell you, that in itself was not enough. I had to take the time and know that whatever time it took, I was going to get there. And this has been a 10-year journey. So it has taken me 10 years to really release this 202 pounds. And I am so thankful for it. So that's my 2 cents.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Excellent.
Very good. Thank you so much. And now, Darrell, you can go ahead and answer that.
I don't believe in diets, and I think because my mindset has changed over the years, we all would try to get into diets because I want to get down to this, I want to get down to that. But actually, I had to change my mindset, and now I had to change it to lifestyle adjustments. So I don't necessarily believe in diets necessarily, but you just have to watch what you eat. You get to know your body, and I think people have to learn to know their body and understand, if I put this in my body, what is it going to do to my body? Once you start taking a little bit more care of yourself and then knowing about how your body reacts to things, then you can start making those changes. So I just say, watch what you eat, know what you can eat, and then learn about the foods. You kind of learn about the nutrition of everything. Eating these kind of foods will help me boost this part of my body, or this will change this right here. And then once you start to realize that if I eat certain foods and do certain things and mix it in with some exercise, then I can really change the way my body looks. And that gets me excited, knowing that if I do this and I do that, together in a combination of working out and then eating properly, then you can definitely make those adjustments and really make those changes that you want to make. I get with the diets, they get to become yo-yo things where I do it for a couple months or a couple weeks rather, and then next thing you know, you're back to your normal thing, because most people don't realize it takes 30 days to start or break a habit. So you need to make sure you be patient. I always tell people, you didn't get the way you look overnight, so don't expect it to fall off overnight. So you got to take your time, put in the effort, think about it, and then start knowing what you're putting in your body. I didn't read labels before, but now I read labels a lot closer than I used to, just to see what's in it, and make sure that I'm putting the right things in my body, so I'm getting my body the proper fuel and things I need to, to move on throughout the day and work out and things like that. So I think it's a combination of both, but I don't necessarily like the word diet. I just say you make adjustments to what you do, because like I said, the diet has a connotation of always, you do it for a minute, then you stop and do something else. You do it for a minute, then you stop and do something else. It's just making an adjustment. And I think once you make that lifestyle adjustment, things will become a little bit easier for you.
All right. I like that answer. I can't wait till we have our panel discussion, but we do have to hear from our doctor so that we can see if we're doing things in a healthy manner. So go ahead, Dr. Dackler.
Well, I think they both said it right there. I agree. And you're talking to two people there who have lost a tremendous amount of weight. And I would agree that they've done it right. I think when you originally posed the question, I went right to the word diet, and I agree. It can mean so many different things unless you define what that actually is. And so many, that's such a negative connotation and associations with, we have the old protein diet and the cabbage soup diet and these bars and Atkins and all these things. And it gets confusing, right? Because one conflicts with the other and maybe they work on their own. So I think that alone has really put people in a bad position. It does come down to daily habits, and you have to have some kind of goal. What is that goal? What's the why that makes us go through this process? Because let's face it, and I'm sure you two would agree, our other panelists, with that. There's times where it's tough, where you've done good all week, and maybe the scale stops moving, and you get to that pantry is there, and there's crackers, there's cookies, and what gets us through that point, that decision point, and that's just having that strong why. But it's the education that really what it comes down to. There's just so much bad information available to us. And so we try to go ahead and implement a specific process that's foreign to us. And maybe we give, and for some people, 30 days is enough to change a habit. Some need 6 months, some need a year. It's different for probably everybody. But it doesn't just happen like that. We have to educate, we have to have a strong why. So those habits in our office, the philosophy is if that meal can't be shared by grandma, grandpa, and the kids, well, then that's not something that's going to be sustainable. You can't pull out a bunch of microwavable meals and pop them in the oven or expect that certain types of lasagna and prepackaged foods are going to do it. It just doesn't work. We've seen that. And how do we know that? Because we've entered in the biggest diet fad stage in the last 20 years that we've ever seen. And yet the obesity rate continues to go up. I think it was 12% in 1960, and we're exceeding 40% right now. Heart disease hasn't gone down. Cancer hasn't gone down.
Right.
So we're doing it wrong. So these guys are on it. You have to make the changes. You have to learn about what's going into your body. So I congratulate both of you. That's fantastic.
I do too, and that's wonderful. And this is the question I have, Dr. Dackler, and then I'm going to ask Darrell and Lisa also. But why do you think that so many people cannot stick to? And I know all three of you have said pretty much the word diet. Maybe that's what's wrong in and of itself, is the fact that you feel like with a diet, you're constricted, or you can only do certain things. So, but what do you think, or what have you found to be the reason why most people are not successful with dieting?
Habit, for one. It's easier. Life is busier for most people. We've got dual income families and kids being shipped off to soccer practice and band and orchestra until 9 o'clock at night. And the cost, relatively speaking, for things like a pizza or McDonald's aren't as bad as maybe they were comparatively to our incomes 20, 30 years ago. But we also don't see food and the things that they put into the food as addictions. And don't think for a second that not billions of dollars of research and development doesn't go into these prepackaged products to make us want them and crave them more. There's a chemical in our body called ghrelin, Ghrelin. It's also referred to as the hunger hormone. And by taking in things like sugars and sweets, corn-based products, makes us want and crave them more. And there's multiple studies done with, let's say, rats, whereas they inject small amounts of ghrelin to the body, they will eat until their stomach lining actually bursts.
Jesus.
So we all have that in us. And so it's an addiction. And I don't think we look at it like an addiction.
And that's true, because a lot of people eat because they say it makes them feel good. It's like comfort food. And food is surrounded in like so many things that we do. You know, you go to a meeting, they have snacks over to the side. You go to functions there where they're going to be refreshment. You know, that's even a draw for people to do things. And Darrell, what have you found? And you have lost, and how long did it take you to lose that weight? And did you fail several times, or what happened on your journey?
Said my journey's been going on for about 10 years. So initially when I started and I was changing the way I ate a little bit, but I was put on a meal plan, started doing that, and then I was doing boot camp. So I did boot camp for like 3 days a week, and it was pretty much all cardio. So what was happening, I was losing, but I wasn't gaining any muscle at the time. So you're just kind of shriveling up is what was happening. So I did that. I lost like 50 pounds initially, like 40 pounds and 45 pounds initially in like a 6-month period, 3-month period really. And then I started trying to do a little bit more, some things differently, but then life changes, things came up, and I put on about maybe 20 more pounds. And I was still down, but I wasn't where I needed to be. And then over time, I just slowed down. I wasn't able to keep up as much activity as I used to. So I ended up putting on the weight. And then this last journey for me really started about 3.5 years ago. And I was about 250 pounds. And I wasn't playing football. It wasn't nobody's NFL team. So I didn't need to be that big. But I also had health issues. I already had sleep apnea. I've been wearing a CPAP for 9 years. I was on high blood pressure. I was on the borderline of high cholesterol. So I needed to make some changes drastically. And I have 3 children. So, you know, I want to be there for my boys and my kids. So I was like, I got to make some changes and do some things differently. So I kind of pushed myself and started back on that journey, started losing the weight, and things changed. But I think to answer your question more specifically, the diet is people aren't patient. Diet is always a quick fix, and that's why I don't really like the word, because the minute I hear diet, you know it's only a short term. And that's why I say you got to make a lifestyle change. You can eat certain way for a lifestyle, and I always say you can eat healthy and it still be good. I'm a cook. I'm a chef. I like to cook. That's more than my passion. So I'm like, you can eat food that tastes good. That's still good for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think people get the misconception that when they diet, it's bad food and it's nasty. It's not going to taste good and I'm not going to like it. And that turns people off. But when you can make food that are appealing and they taste good, and you can look and say, hey, you know, that's not bad. I can do that, you know, and then you just have to make slight adjustments, you know.
Yeah. And Lisa, what do you think about that? Why do you think a lot of people just cannot lose the weight or stick to a healthy diet program?
I think it's because they really haven't made the mind shift. It really starts in the mind. I think Darrell said that earlier. It does take you understanding, as Doctor said, your why, and understanding that my mother, although, you know, always on the go and what have you, but she was not healthy. Okay. She was off and on with, you know, congestive heart failure and different, you know, high blood pressure. And then she, you know, toward the later years of her life, of course, lost tremendous amount of weight as well, released all of that weight. And, you know, but by that time, a lot of damage was done. So for me, I knew that if I was going to have any type of longevity, you know, I had to do something differently. But here's another thing. In 2009, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer and had no symptoms, no irregularities, nothing. There were no history of cancer in my family. So after I did some research and I said, wow, the CDC indicates that, you know, 40% of the cancers in the United States are obesity related. they're obesity related. Okay, Lisa, obesity related. You're almost 400 pounds. There's your
Ooh.
precursor. There it
Wow.
is. So what I started doing after going through chemo, or during the time of going through the chemo treatments and all of that, I started eating healthy, but my quantity was still too large. So, you know, it's one thing to have a salad, but if the salad can feed 3 people, you're still not eating healthy, because
Mhm.
portion sizes make a difference. And in the United States, we serve on platters as opposed to, you know, saucer plates. We do. So they bring out meals and you go, oh my gosh, who was that for? It's for 1 person, when it really should be for 4. And
Yeah.
people love restaurants based on that. So I started saying, okay, Lisa, do what you can to pull back, pull back. So I prayed about it. I needed some help. So I
Mhm.
did pursue the bariatric sleeve procedure. And, you know, so for me, it was a 10-year journey, because I released the first 114 pounds in the first 2 years. But for 5.5 years, nothing, not a
Mm.
pound. I may have
Wow.
gone up and down from where I stopped, but I did not release anything else. I keep saying lose, you guys will release. I'm trying to say release. When my dad passed, okay, the things I realized, the things that were weighing on me kept the weight on me as well, because I
Mm.
did use food as a comfort. I did use it as I'm taking care of everyone else, not overeating, but still not being mindful, because I believe food is a mind thing as far as how you even
Yeah.
eat it. You know, take the time to savor it, taste the curry, taste the, you know, all the ingredients that you put in there. What did it take for you to even, for the ingredients to even get to your table? Who are the people that were involved in picking, you know, the fruit and all of
That
that?
sounds nice, but I can guarantee you, I don't know how many people do that.
They don't.
Because
But what
you
I'm
sit
saying,
down to eat, you're like, I'm ready to eat. I believe, like you said, and like I think Darrell, you said it as well, and you too, Doctor. I think it's just a mental thing. I really think you had to make up in your mind that you want to be healthy and you want to live a healthy lifestyle. Not that, okay, I'm
yes.
going to do this diet or do that. So then if you make up your mind, to me, then you seek out, okay, what do I do to maintain this lifestyle? Just like if you
That's
want
true.
to have a particular lifestyle where you have things of value or whatever you want to have, you figure out, okay, how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to get the house that I want to have? You know, to frame your lifestyle or to go to school. But when it comes
But I
to our
think
weight, we
everybody is
don't do that.
different.
Yeah.
But I think everybody is different. For me, the way I lose weight is a goal base. Like I had a dress that I had to get into for my son's wedding. Okay. And I just was not gonna be able to go to the wedding. I refused to buy another dress. And I said I was gonna work, and I did it. But up until then, I had been for 2 years knowing I would had the
Mhm.
wedding coming, couldn't lose the weight. And
Mhm.
it took the last 6 months. I ended up losing too much weight, and the dress had to be altered down. But
Wow, awesome.
you know, that was a thrill. Now I went to the doctor the other day. I have gained 11 pounds since that wedding, and that was just in June. So I've got to
Yeah.
get back. But I know for me, I need a goal. And this year I will
Mhm.
be celebrating, and no one will believe it, my 60th birthday.
Yay.
And so that's my goal.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just need a
Yeah.
goal related to it. And I will say, you two have been an inspiration to anyone losing weight. You have used
Yes.
social media to show, to chronologize
Yes.
your process. And it's just been inspirational. And I'm always
Thank you.
thrilled when I see it.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. People are see this, and Darrell and Lisa, they'll say, my God, if they could lose that, I know I could lose like 15 pounds, you know. So Dr.
Mhm.
Dockler, if people come to you, how do you determine the type of program or what you're going to do? Because I'm sure you don't do the same thing with everybody. Is it like
Oh, yeah.
tailored to those needs of the patient?
Yes, yeah, of course. I mean, because you're right, everybody's a little bit different. I mean, we'll have quite a few, I'd say maybe 20+% of the individuals that come to us, their problem isn't overeating, it's eating small amounts of the wrong foods. And my mom's a good example. You know, she's my dad passed years ago, and she's in her 70s, and so she might get up and have a cup of coffee, and if she's hungry, she'll have a brownie or a few Fritos. Now, she might consume very low calories, but her metabolic rate would drop so low. So I actually did help her that dropped about 50 pounds just in making some basic changes. She's a pretty disciplined person when she gets to it. So you have to have different programs and recommendations for people. Absolutely, because we're starting from a different spot. But the goals that you guys mentioned, yes, are important, but what's associated with a goal is typically a timeline. The wedding being a good example. When that timeline was getting closer, we kicked it into gear. And I can almost guarantee the problem wasn't not being able to lose it, but the consistency, right? Because you would probably, I'm guessing, you do something for 3, 4, 5 days, maybe started on a Monday, you eat the salads, you eat light, you eat healthy, you drink water. Thursday rolls around, someone says, hey, why don't we just get pizza? And you're like, well, I dropped 5 pounds this week. I'm good. And so we do that, which bleeds into Friday to Saturday to Sunday. Monday, we wake up, we're in the same spot. So those goals are great because they have a timeline to them, a deadline, I should say. And then that just, so we have to have a consistency in that process. And I'm sure you two went through it. If you did 5, 6 days of healthy eating and 2 days of bad, what happened?
There's nothing.
There you go again, right?
Don't release it at all.
That's right. You just put it right back on. It craves it now. The body thinks you're starving.
Oh,
and one of the other things I think is so important for me is meal prepping. I am in another zone when I meal prep. I know what I'm going to have every day. I know the different types of things I'm going to have. Now, is it the exact same food? No, but it's a combination of things that I have prepared that are in small dishes that I can grab and go. I do not go to a function and feel that I have to eat the food that's there if it's not going to work for me. And I won't eat it. I am okay with going to a function and everyone going to the regular size plates. And I go to the dessert plates and get that. And my food goes on that because that's all I can eat. And then I don't eat all of that. So, and if I can't eat anything at that function, guess what? I have my protein bar and I'll get some water. I'm good. And I'm okay with anyone, whatever.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Lisa. And you're right. I think people fill up the plate because it's there. And, you feel like, okay, well, let me put everything on the plate. And, my husband, a lot of times when we go to restaurants, he'll order kids' meals. And he'll argue with them if they tell him that he can't have a kid's meal. He's like, well, that's all I want to eat. They'll be like, well, you're not 12.
And discipline. It's hard, but once you get your mindset, like I said, getting yourself on the right, it's 90% of what you do is mental. Okay. The other 10%, you can work out all day and no big deal. You can do, but if you don't lock your mindset in and know that this is what I have to do, and you have an accountability for what your actions are going to be. If I don't eat this right, if I eat the wrong things, this is what's going to happen to me. And hopefully that's going to trigger something. I mean, I've been personal training for 3.5 years, and that's how I lost the last 50 pounds that I lost. It's because I had a trainer. I only train 2 days a week, but I do other things on my own when I'm not training. But with that, I was initially put on an initial meal plan to lose the weight. Once I got to the weight loss, then it was time to build the muscle up that I lost the weight. So what happens then as the time went on and I could see my body changing, I said, you know what? Because I train with a lot of people that end up usually competing, and we all have a nutritionist. So I started to use their nutritionist. I talked to their nutritionist and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I want to do with my body right now. This is where I want to go. I'm mentally locked in saying, okay, I'm like Lisa, I meal prep. Sundays are my meal prep days. I cook for the whole family. And we have to know because it's very easy to go out and buy some stuff, and I'm also a DJ, so I'm out late at night. There's nothing good and healthy for you open late at night.
No.
That's always a bad decision that's about to be made when you're leaving an event you just did. And many a time I would take my food with me to the wedding or to the event I did. And whenever it was time for eat, I'm fine. I got my meal right here. I'll eat my food and I'm fine. And like she said, it's all about being prepared. So
Dr. Dackler, I would like to know, having heard Darrell's story and mine and seeing the path that both of us have come from, what, being a weight loss doctor as you are, what would be one point of view or one advice, a piece of advice that you would give each of us to walk away with today for our journey? I would love to hear your opinion.
I would say, share it. Please share your stories with as many people as you can, because what's going on right now, in this country, in this world, is, we just went through this thing, this COVID pandemic, that's not close to the problems that are being caused with obesity and processed foods, the junk that we're putting into our bodies, period. And unless they can see and they can hear the stories and how you did it and what you do, and the way you guys explained it was beautiful. It was simple. It was heartfelt. And so that'd be my, not necessarily my advice, but my wish is, please go out there, continue to share your story with people, and just guide them, lead them a little bit in those nuggets.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I really appreciate that. And I really do believe that people will be inspired to make a difference, because if they can make, like you all said, a mindset, and even if it's based on a goal, Vanetta, like you had your goal, or what it is, people just have to determine that they want to live a healthier lifestyle. So thank you all so very, very much for everything that you said. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if people want more information, they can look up Eye Care Leadership. They can look you up, Dr. Dackler, at the Healthy One Weight Loss Center. And Daryl, they can follow you and your story. So thank you all so very much. Oh, I enjoyed everybody, Vanetta.
That was a great show. That was a great show.
That was a great show. I really liked how everybody talked about you have to have a mindset. And it's the truth. If you don't make up in your mind that this is what I want to do, you're going to fail. You're not going to be able to make it. And so I was looking up some of the reasons why people's diets, don't work. And as I saw, they said lack of motivation, lack of planning, unrealistic goals. And and
losing
even though you said you had, even though you had a very good goal, some people have just unrealistic goals. And so I think I thought that all was good.
And I meant to say, what really helped me was to break it down in chunks. So I finally told myself, I want to lose 2 pounds a week. I had an ultimate goal of losing 16 pounds. And no, I lost 16. I had an ultimate goal of losing 10. I went over, but I had to break it down in little chunks, 2 pounds a week, 2 pounds a week. But then I had weeks when I didn't lose anything, and I had to just say, I'm gonna stay committed. And I knew I had to get in this dress. I had to stay committed.
And you did. And like you said, you looked fabulous. You looked absolutely fabulous in that. So whatever it is that you have to do, you just really have to make up in your mind that that's what you want to do. So I certainly hope that there are people who will be inspired by this episode, people who will really make up their mind that they want to live a healthier lifestyle, that they want to lose weight, that they want to put in the work, because it is going to take work. Like
and
anything else,
2022 is the year.
Anything else that's worth doing is worth working for. So please make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook. Listen to our podcast now, because we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And just tell other people about the show and help motivate each other. So until next time, we'll see you for another episode of Public Opinion. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.